Hello there, this is Bjorn from the Falcon Gaming community, and today I'm going to show you how to download, install, and give you a short little preview tutorial of how the TaskForceRadio mod works for Arma 3. Now, the first thing you want to do to get this mod is to go to the TaskForceRadio website. You'll find a link down below in the description, and I will also include a link to the Armaholic download, if that's your preference. But anyway, you navigate your way to this website. And on the front page, you'll see a blue button called Download Radio. When you click this button to download the mod, it will download a zip file. You place it wherever you want. I chose to place it on the desktop, and as soon as it's done downloading, it'll take, well, depending on the internet, not too long. It's only 130 megabytes big or so. It goes pretty fast, within a minute usually. When you open up this folder, the zip file, you'll find a folder called 0.9.8. This is the current version of TaskForceRadio. As I'm making this video, this might be different for you. You open up this, and inside you find three folders: Arma 3, plugins for old TeamSpeak, and TeamSpeak 3 client. I understand this is where inexperienced modders, users, whatever, run into some problems, but not to worry, I'm going to carefully walk you through how to install this mod. So, first off, you want to install the actual mod, and to do that, you want to go onto Arma 3. Here you'll find another three folders, but the folders we'll focus on here is TaskForceRadio and the user config. The CBA that's in this folder is outdated. It's from 2015 in April, so you will want to go to Armaholic and find the latest version of CBA. You will require it to play on most servers. I will also include a link for that in the description below, and I will include a link to another video where I walk you through how to install that mod. It's very simple. Now, to install TaskForceRadio and the user config, we want to redirect to our Arma 3 directory, which is usually found in program files inside Steam, Steam Apps, Common, Arma 3. Now here you'll find all the mods I've installed. Of course you won't find it on your computer, but this is an example. And to install the user config and the TaskForceRadio mod, you simply select these two folders, drag them in, and WinRAR will unpack them. If you run into a conflict like this, simply override it. This is only because I have a previous version of TaskForceRadio already installed. Now you don't really need to worry about much more, but there's one little step you need to complete here before we can leave this folder. You go into TaskForceRadio, you'll find a folder called Keys, and inside there you'll find the NKey8 bykey. Take this, copy it, don't delete it, just leave it in there. It's nice to have, just copy it. Go back to your Arma 3 directory, find a folder called Keys, and paste it. Again, if you run into a conflict, replace it. And that concludes the installation of TaskForceRadio, the mod itself. Now onto the TeamSpeak plugin. We'll go back to where we can find the plugins for all TeamSpeak and the TeamSpeak 3 client and the WinRAR file. Now, when you do this step, it's important that you check what version you have of TeamSpeak. This is very easy. Just go on your TeamSpeak and you can see it. But when you install these plugins, you want to close down TeamSpeak. You don't want TeamSpeak running while you do this. That might create some conflict. So I'm going to close that down. And then I'm going to redirect myself to the TeamSpeak directory where I've installed TeamSpeak. This is usually by default under program files in TeamSpeak 3 client. And in here you'll find another folder called plugins. Simply go on that. And in here you will place the plugins folder from TeamSpeak 3 client as well as the DLL files. Simply drag them and drop them. If you run into a conflict, you usually shouldn't, but if you do, overwrite, overwrite, overwrite. It's important that you have the latest versions for this to work. And to check that this is actually working on TeamSpeak, we'll reopen up TeamSpeak. It'll automatically connect me to my server. And I will go onto Tools, Plugins, and here you will find the plugins running on your TeamSpeak. and here TaskForceRadio Armor 3 radio will automatically be checked off for you. If it's not, then please select the checkbox, make sure that it's the way you see it here, close it out. And a small tip to you server owners out there who are looking to implement TaskForceRadio onto your Armor 3 servers, to get a channel on TeamSpeak that automatically moves all people who play on your server to this channel when they connect to your server, simply create the channel called TaskForceRadio anywhere on your TeamSpeak. When you create this channel, call it TaskForceRadio exactly as you see it there, with capitalized T, F, and R in one word, and then make the password out to be 123, and that's it. Whenever users of TaskForceRadio connect to your server, they will automatically be moved to this channel. And their name should also be changed to their in-game or their profile names on Armor 3. Okay, so over and out with the TeamSpeak. It's time to go onto the actual game and check out if we can load up TaskForceRadio. So what we want to do is we want to launch Armor 3, get onto the launcher where we can load our mods. And you should have the latest version of community-based add-ons, as I said previously, running to make this work. You will need this connected to most servers anyway. So we have installed TaskForceRadio, but we have yet to load it into our launchers and launch the game with it. So we select a local mod, redirect your Armor 3 directory, it should do this by default. Select your TaskForceRadio and load it. It should automatically pop up in your loaded mods. If it's not, you can find it in the list below, and all you have to do is check it off to make it work. Now, to actually confirm that it's working 100%, we'll go in-game to see that we can see the icon on the main menu. And then I'll load up an editor mission for us to take a quick look in-game at the radios and how we can make sure that we're actually transmitting and how we can select frequencies. In the game, independent OP4 and Blue4 should have each their separate radios, which means that if you're Blue4 and you not possess an OP4 radio, you shouldn't be able to hear what OP4 is talking about, even though you're on the same frequency. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, please, but this is the way I've understood it. So now that we're on the main menu, we can actually see that we have CBA and TaskForceRadio loaded. That's very good. That's a good sign. We know that it's working now. So let's pop onto the editor, onto Stratus, and play on our little soldier now. Let's see if we can go in-game, load up the arsenal, and take a gander at these different radios. When you're a mission maker and you place units like these and you have TaskForceRadio running, often you'll see that they spawn with a radio backpack. You can edit this out. It's not a difficult thing to do. But the radio backpacks are long-range radios, which we won't concern ourselves with too much right now. Anyway, if you open up our menu for spawn an arsenal, or you spawn an object which you can access the arsenal through, you can find under communication lots of new objects, lots of new little items. Here you'll find the different radios. They have different ranges. The ANPRC 152 and 154 should have a 5 kilometer distance. The 148 should have a 2 kilometer distance, which is what most foot soldiers will be using. Commanders and squad leaders will be using the longer ranges, like 5 kilometer range radios, and the long range backpack radios, which can reach, in my experience, up to 10 to 15 kilometers depending on the terrain. Yes, the radios are impacted by the terrain. You cannot transmit through mountains if the map is made correctly. Well, if you can, it's a very low receiving. Alright, so let's try out the ANPRC 154. You can find the backpacks in the backpack section here, which is the long range ones. We won't take a look at those now, as they're mostly the same as short range and it's not too hard to use. Alright, so I've selected my short range radio. Default to bring this up the user interface in-game is Control P. This will bring up my radio. On this little screen here, these radios look a little bit different, but you can always find this screen. which is C142.4. This means that I am on channel 1, frequency 42.4. To type in a new channel, either highlight it and back and delete it, or just simply clear frequency. Type in your new frequency, which your squad should be using. Say, for example, your squad is using frequency 250. All your squad members now need to be on frequency 250 in order to communicate each other with this radio. So we enter and set the frequency. Now, if I close my radio again, I've set my keybind, my custom keybind, to actually talk over the radio. Default, it should be caps lock. For long range, I think it is shift caps lock or control caps lock. I'll show you where to find that out in a second. But if I start broadcasting now, you'll see a small black box in the bottom right corner that confirms that I'm actually broadcasting and on what frequency and channel. So now I am broadcasting, transmitting on radio ANPRC 1541, channel 1, frequency 250. The green text indicates that I am live broadcasting to my teammates. If I let go of my button, it'll turn orange, transmitted, which means my transmission is ended, they can no longer hear me. And it's pretty much that simple. If you want to mess around with the radios, there's several buttons you can access here for if you want the radio to be broadcasted on your speakers or headphones in real life, or in game. If you want the radio to be broadcasted on your headphones, if you're wearing certain type of gear in game, for example. You can also adjust the volume and so on. Another cool thing that TaskForceRadio introduces is the ability to yell and whisper and talk normally. This is something you can adjust in your key bindings. So by talking in direct chat, which is now default bound to my actual push to talk key, on TeamSpeak 3, I can adjust how loud I want to talk. So say I want to yell, I can simply use the push to talk key on TeamSpeak to yell in game, and my voice will travel a further distance. This can be changed to whispering, which will only transfer roughly 4 to 5 meters, and normal, which will go a little bit further, but not too long. It's realistic. And that pretty much concludes the TaskForceRadio interface. But if you want to change the keys out, you actually need to be in game to do this. I'm not able to bring this the configure key menu up from the main menu, which is a little bit annoying, but it's not too bad. But when you're in game on the server, or you can also do this in the editor, which is probably the safest, you simply go on escape, configure, controls, configure add-ons you'll find on the bottom. And here you have a drop-down menu for running several mods. You have different options here, but you will want to go into TFAR. Here you will have long-range transmit, short-range transmit, all the channels, hotkeys for everything. And you can customize it how you want. I customize it as I'm normally running several mods, so they won't really interfere with each other. But I think that pretty much concludes our small, fast tutorial for download, installation, and usage of the TaskForceRadio. If you want to learn more about mods in Arma 3, how to install them, how to use them, or if you want to play on servers that actually enforce these mods, please visit us at www.FalconDayCRP.com. Subscribe to our channel, check out our other videos. Other than that, I hope this helped you, and I also hope you have a pleasant day. Thank you all.